Guys, El Cucuy is back. Tony Ferguson gets his first win in a combat sport since 2019. All right? Do you not hear the words I'm saying? Tony Ferguson finally got a win in 6 years. All right? This is almost one of the greatest moments in mixed martial arts. All right? I might even cry after this. I probably not, but like you get the point. Who would have saw this coming? All right, even though Salt Poppy, like on paper, shouldn't even be competitive with Tony Ferguson in a boxing match. Like you can't help but worry for Tony Ferguson because he hasn't looked all that great in his last couple of fights in the UFC. But still, great win from Tony Ferguson. You love to see it. Not gonna lie though, I was kind of worried in the first round because I think Saul Poppy landed some good shots, but as the fight progressed, Tony Ferguson returned to the El Kukui of old and began to break Salt Poppy. Absolute cinema. All right, we got to celebrate this win. Now, this was an early stoppage. All right, let me just say that. But I do not care because it's Tony Ferguson, and Tony Ferguson needed to win. And also, I don't think Saul Poppy was really going to do much as the fight progressed because he seemed to be breaking at some point. Like, he was doing well the first round, but starting from the end of the second round, he was beginning to slow down, and Tony Ferguson was beginning to pressure him more and more. And I just saw Tony Ferguson slowly shift the tide of the battle. All right. Now, to be fair to Saul Poppy, I have no idea why the ref stepped in that situation. But hey, I needed a Tony Ferguson win, and we got a Tony Ferguson win, and that's good enough in my books. So, congratulations to Tony Ferguson, and thank you to Salt Poppy for giving us a Tony Ferguson win. Now, moving on, we got Darren Till, folded Luke Rockhold up like a lawn chair. It was a very nasty knockout, and I don't know, it sucks for Luke Rockhold. Like, I get that he still wants to do this and he still wants to like prove himself to be like an absolute savage. Like this is not about being a savage at this point because first off, Luke Rockhold, you're 40 years old, all right? No amount of gear and TRT is going to change that fact that you're like 40 plus years old and you haven't really got the best chin for like combat sports in the first place. Like I've seen Luke Rockhold get knocked out many times, all right? And as Luke Rockhold gets older and older, I don't think it's gonna help all that much. All right. Not saying that Luke Rockhold isn't a savage because, like, okay, he'll beat me up any day of the week. All right. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. He'll beat anybody up or like any street dude up in a fist fight any day of the week. But at this point, Luke Rockhold does not have the chin for this. So, like, I don't think Luke Rockhold should really be competing in any sort of combat sport that involves hitting people because there's a good chance that he's just going to get knocked out over and over again and it's only going to get worse for him health wise. But as for Darren Till, great knockout. All right. We got to watch this fucking absolute beauty of a combination right here. Oh my gosh. You got to watch that one more time. Oh, left hand after the uppercut. Jesus Christ. Now, I gotta say something about this referee because when you, as you hear Luke Rockhold's body fold up like a lawn chair, you can hear this referee starting a count, all right? KSI in the background. They're saying, why is the ref counting? Why is he counting? No, genuinely, though, why are you counting, bro? Like, bro, just end the fight. Like, is Luke Rockhold even thinking about fighting back in this situation? I don't think so. Right? Just get that ref out of here. Never allow him to like become a referee in any sort of combat sport. All right, whoever that referee is. No offense. Like you shouldn't really be starting a count when you see someone's like lifeless body there, unconscious, like wondering like where they are at this point. Because that's where Luke Rockhold was. All right. So overall, great win from Darren Till. Even though Luke Rockhold's like what 40 years old, like I think Luke Rockhold was actually seriously training for this fight, and he did look like he was blasting some gear, and he was actually doing pretty well in the first round, right? He was popping the jab, and he was hitting Darren Till with some shots. It was unfortunate, however, that towards the end of the first round, that Darren Till caught him with the left hand, and I don't think Luke Rockhold ever fully recovered from that because right after, Darren Till started to press the action and he started to really break Luke Rockhold as the fight progressed. So again, though, great win from Darren Till. As for Luke Rockhold, just please stop uh, competing in combat sports that involves hitting people because at this point, like I don't know, all of your teeth might get knocked out. Right? How many more times do you have to get knocked out before enough is enough? All right. I think by now, all right, considering the sheer number of times you've been knocked out in the UFC, and plus now you're getting knocked out in all of these Misfits boxing matches, I think now is enough. So Luke Rockhold, please officially retire. And last but not least, we got this fucking clown over here, Dylan Dennis. Now, I did like Dylan Dennis at one point. Like he did really sell the fight with Logan Paul, but then he disappointed me with that generationally embarrassing performance, right? And it hasn't really hit the same since, right? Now, Dylan Dennis is Misfits Boxing's first MMA champion. Right. Dylan Dennis is a world champion in mixed martial arts. Like, yeah, it's 2025, right? Anything can happen. But I'm just gonna say this. Can Dylan Dennis actually fight someone who's shot a single leg before? Because if you look at the fight, right, this guy had no idea what he was doing. Right, he threw a right, left. Look at that single leg. Like, where where is he shooting? I have no idea. I don't know if he was even going for a single leg at this point. But like, what is this guy doing? Right? What is this Wallace Spencer? I even forgot the name of this tomato can, right? What is he doing? Why is he even doing this? What made him think that this was a good idea? I don't know. All right. And Dylan Dennis, fair enough to him, immediately took advantage of that by just going for the neck and sitting into a mounted guillotine. And that was the end of this Spencer dude over here. All right. Dylan Dennis, I don't know, like get him someone who actually shot a single leg or a double leg before, right? Maybe then I'll like think about like Dylan Dennis' performance. But as far as I'm concerned, he's still a bum because I don't know. I think anybody who actually like trained jujitsu and like not shoot like shitty single legs like that, and someone who actually knows how to strike, I think can actually beat Dylan Dennis. And in my mind, there are a lot of people around the mixed martial arts scenes that can definitely beat Dylan Dennis. But hey, he's technically undefeated and he's a world champion. So congrats to him, I guess. If you guys want to see more videos like this, please make sure to like and subscribe so I can get this channel monetized. Overall, I thought this was a nice event. We had a couple of good fights under the card as well, and overall, I wasn't really expecting much to begin with, and plus, El Cucuy got a win in 2025. Alright, anything's possible now. But yeah, other than that though, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.